What's up guys, MikeCoco back here, bringing you guys a June Costumes of the Month video. And June's costumes are featuring Juri and Prame or Pram, however you want to pronounce it. So I'm just gonna get right into it. These two heroes are both very good, and their costumes are both actually very good, much better than last month's. Now, it's all completely dependent on which one you prefer um, to get. So I'm gonna cover Juri first, and Juri's skill. Well, let's look at her costume first. She turns into like this purple girl thing and has like a flying cat around her, which is kind of weird, but whatever. So her skill allows her to heal just like usual, but it allows her to cancel buffs, and this is basically the same thing as dispelling buffs, similar to Frank or similar to Taihu's costume. Now, if you remember my old video on Juri, back when I first reviewed her a long time ago, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should check it out. The only weakness to her skill was that you cannot heal if the enemy had the blessing. I believe it's like the Heart of Shadow, or some other mobs might cast a blessing similar to Guinevere's skill, and you won't be able to use your skill. And since Juri heals by using her skill, effectively, if there was that blessing, you could not heal at all, which completely destroyed her if you couldn't get rid of that buff. Now, with her costume, she can remove the buff and heal, which completely removes her weakness. The only reason why Juri was the only reason why I viewed Juri as weaker than Arena was only because she couldn't heal when she needed to. But the fact that she can now heal whenever she wants, because she can cancel the buff and then heal, makes her absolutely amazing, because now she has no more weakness. Well, aside from the fact that all magic users have very low tanking ability, I see like very little weakness to Juri, and she is, in my opinion, superior to Arena, except maybe in like IB, where Arena's summon just draws aggro. But her costume actually removes her one weakness that she had for the entire time, which is why I personally believe Juri's costume is the better out of the two. But it's that's not to say that Pram's costume is not good either. It's really good. It's just that Juri's costume can remove her weakness, while Pram's costume will just increase damage. So honestly, it depends on which heroes you have. If you have Juri, then get Juri's costume. If you have Pram, get Pram's costume. But if you have both, then I personally would recommend Juri simply because it removes the weakness, like I said, rather than just increasing damage. Because you can increase damage, but changing a skill, like I always say, is the more important part. So that's my view on Juri's costume. Now Pram's costume is also very good, and it's also like Halloween based, I suppose. Um, and basically, what happens is that her damage is effectively turned into magic damage. So if you take a look here, it says deals 50 plus 90 damage crosswise. And then when you take a look here, it says deals 50 plus 90 magic damage crosswise. So Prime's costume converts her into somewhat like Claire. Her damage is now affected by agility, but she deals magic damage, which completely ignores all armor, which is very, very good. And despite the fact that all cannon users have terribly inconsistent damage ranges, it gets better as you rank them up and level them up, because at max level and max rank, their minimum damage also increases, as well as their maximum damage. So of course they won't be hitting god awful anymore. They may just be hitting like awful. So it might go from like 60k minimum range to 100k minimum range, which is much better, or maybe even 150. I don't know because I don't have a very high leveled cannon user, but that can happen, and that's why I think even though Pram's inconsistency in damage is there, it's not as affected as you rank her up, and especially with the fact that she now has magic damage and the fact that she has very high critical. Basically, if you use her skill, she's pretty much going to crit 3 out of 4 times, because I believe it goes up to a maximum of 75%. So you're going to crit 3 out of 4 times and deal magic damage, and if you're lucky, you can hit the top end of the damage, which is absolutely amazing. I actually don't think there's another hero who can match her damage at the top end, especially if it's magic damage and it's a crit. So Pram is very good for that damage wise, but do remind or keep in mind of the fact that the lower bound of her damage is kind of bad. But we will get Poki's costume sooner or later, and Poki's costume will increase the minimum damage of all cannon users by 150%. So let's say you have 100k minimum damage using Poki's costume, and Poki on the board will allow you to raise that to 150, I believe. And this works out very well if you're using even more cannon users. For example, if you have Cromwell or Hyrule in your team. Where am I going? Cromwell or Hyrule. Let's see. So you got Hyrule and you got Cromwell and where is that? I think Poki and Pram. So if you have those four on your board and you actually use them quite a bit, then it will help you. But just keep in mind of the fact that I don't think there's a cannon user until after season 8. I don't think we're getting another one until there isn't a cannon user in S7 as far as I know, or S8. So just keep in mind of that fact. So pretty much for the costumes, just get the costume of the hero you have. If you have Juri, get Juris. If you have Pram, get Prams. If you don't, then flip a coin. Because it's purely opinionated. It depends on just how, if you want more damage or if you just want to cover that one weakness, so you can heal all the time. So I'm gonna be getting Juri. I don't have enough hearts right now, but I will definitely be getting Juri because I don't have Pram. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the costumes of this month, guys. Peace.